38011 DM.
All right, we are on record today based on an objection to a referee recommendation. As I understand it, may I have the names of both of our participants, please?
Jennifer Martinez.
Antonio Martinez.
Thank you. Deputy Ames, would you swear them both in, please?
You both please raise your right hand. You swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Yes.
Just give me 1 second.
The chair was wet. My pants are wet.
All right, thank you. All right, so it looks like there was a friend of the court hearing held on June 13th, 2023. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, and then that was filed by Ms. Jennifer Martinez for an adjustment on child support.
Yes.
Okay, so today is the date and time set for an objection to that recommendation of child support. So whenever you're ready, why don't you go ahead and tell the court what you're asking for and why, Ms. Martinez?
Okay. So when we had the referee hearing, the referee judge denied my request to have my child support lowered due to I was no longer working at EOI.
And what is EOI?
EOI Pioneer is the last job that I had. I had put my 2 weeks in because it was a toxic environment, and just with it was a small company, so there was a lot of drama, and that did not pertain to me. It just trickled off into departments, and my boss was talking away such that should not be talked to her employees, and I've talked to the HR manager about it a few times and nothing was done. So I let her know that I was putting my 2 weeks in because I was no longer willing to subject myself to that work environment no longer. So that I was not working, and I had gotten a job, but I don't even think I worked a week because that's when the UAW started happening. And ever since then, I've called 3 to 4 different temp services, and everything was being affected in the automotive industry due to the UAW being on strike.
Well, and so I anticipate that the referee would have told you that voluntarily giving up employment, unfortunately, is not a reason that your child support can be adjusted. Was that what happened?
Yes.
Okay. Are you working now?
No, I'm currently still looking for a job. And I did have a job through Express, which I did get a breakdown of weekly, and I believe it said $283 a week or $4 something bi-weekly, but due to the UAW, that's when I had gotten laid.
Okay, that last part broke up.
So I was working through Express, and I got a letter of the breakdown of my child support. So it would have been, I believe, $283 for weekly, and then it was like $4 something bi-weekly. But when I had gotten that, I was no longer working due to the UAW. And after that, I went to Plastic Omnia Randstand, and I did orientation for that. And then they were having a meeting, and then after that, they emailed me and texted me saying that training was on hold due to the UAW because at the time when I had orientation, they weren't affected by it. But then that meeting that they had on Friday, she let me know Monday that Monday, I don't remember the date, that training or new starts were going to be put on hold, and they didn't know for how long. So I did have a job after Express, but I never got to start because of the UAW being on strike, because they supply top three automotive industries that were on strike.
All right, thank you. Okay, Mr. Antonio Martinez, do you have any interest in allowing for any credit towards arrearages or any reduction in child support by way of agreement for Ms. Martinez?
No.
Okay, there is a request also in her objection. She seems to think you do. Are you working, not working?
As of right now, no, I'm not working right now.
All right. She's suggested in her objection that it could be more beneficial for her to take the dependency on her tax returns rather than yourself, in order to maximize that reduction or that income tax return, which would likely, frankly, come to you anyway, given the arrearages. What are your thoughts on that?
No.
Are you going to be able to benefit from using the tax deduction?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Okay, is there anything else that you wanted to say today,
No.
Mr. Martinez?
I think there was something about, I put in, she wanted parenting time for Matthew too, and that there was nothing discussed about that. I objected to that, but I guess I'm assuming that she doesn't want parenting time now. I don't know.
No, I also put in an objection for that also. And wants me to pay child support, which I have no issue with, but yet at the same time, he doesn't want to give me parenting time. He did object to, I was to get the first and third Saturday at 9, I think it was 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. And he objected to that. And I don't think that's fair that I pay child support and not get parenting time.
Well, you're not paying child support. You quit your job.
Okay, Mr. Martinez, why, what's happening with the parenting time and why is she not visiting, in your opinion?
Okay, she had all the more she could visit whenever she wants to. She chose not to call her kids. They're not young kids. My daughter's about to turn 18 in December, and my son's about to turn 16. They both got Facebooks. I mean, she can visit them, but she chooses not to. She just, at the 5 years since, it's going on 5 years I had them, she's not once ever tried to talk to the kids or tried to see the kids. Even before she started paying child support, she never tried to go see the kids. She didn't have no bills, but yet she never tried to see the kids. And on top of that, the whole reason I got custody of the kids is because my daughter was molested under her care. And nothing's been said about that this whole time that I've had the kids. And now all of a sudden, a week after she finds out my son is going to get a settlement when he turns 18, she puts in a petition to request the court to set parenting time. There's no need for that. All she had to do was just contact her son. And she blames me like I'm holding my kids against their will to see her, and that's not the case. It's going on 5 years and she has no type of relationship with them. So I see it as I just don't trust her. She's not showed any reason for me to be able to trust her with her kids. She hasn't done nothing. And she still to this day tells her she don't even talk to her daughter. And it's hard for me as a parent to see two kids that I have and they're going back and forth because their mother chooses only to talk to one of them. And that's not okay. It's not right. So I feel like Jenny needs some type of counseling. She needs some type of parenting counseling or something where she can talk to these kids and get these issues under wraps instead of blowing it under the rug and pretending like none of this ever happened. I'm not okay with that. If she tried these last 5 years to have any type of relationship with her, I'd be looking at this different. But I'm asking the court, please, like, she's done hurt these kids enough for so long. I'm just asking you guys to be aware of this, to be aware of her, and please don't let her be able to hurt these kids anymore.
All right, Ms. Martinez, do you have your son's contact information?
No, all I have is Facebook or actually it's only Messenger. Antonio said to my son that I'm not allowed to have his phone number. So I have contacted him on Messenger, and I supposedly he was grounded, so he wasn't able to message me back. And I've asked numerous times when I was working, when the Monroe County Fair was going on, I said, ask your dad if you can come with me. I want to take you to the fair. And then when the Fulton County Fair in September, I asked my son to ask his dad if I was allowed to take him. And both times I did not get a response. And in our last referee hearing, Antonio did say that my son does not want to have, what his words was that my kids do not want to spend time with me, and he's not going to make his kids spend time with somebody they don't want to spend time with. So I messaged my son and I said, okay, well, is there a reason why, you don't answer me when I call you or text you, or do you not want to spend time with me? I said, if not, that's okay. Just let me know. And he's like, my son responded back in the text message, which I still have, said, he's like, no, I want to see you. And I said, okay. And I left it at that. So I don't know what Antonio tells my kids. So, and I feel like he's brainwashing them, and it's hard to contact him and then he doesn't respond to me, even though I do contact him.
Okay, Ms. Martinez, when's the last time you had a visit with your son?
I don't, since he's been here in the 2 years, I think I've had visitation with him less than a handful of times.
All right. So, all right, I think I have an idea of what's happening with your situation. Is there anything else you want to say before I make a decision on that point?
No, I just would like to spend time with my children and not have to, makes things very, very difficult. And that's why I wanted to go through the courts and have it written in paper, because if the court agrees to something Antonio doesn't like, then he just makes it harder for me. And yes, I understand, but I can't help my situation that, trying to find work right now is hard. But you can even see before, when I was working, I told my HR manager, have my child support taken out of my check so I wouldn't have to deal with it and have to do it on my own, because I was working. So that way I knew it was covered and taken care of. But I just don't think that's fair that I pay child support. I'm going to continue as soon as I find a job to have, I just would like parenting time. I just don't think that that's, and he doesn't want to compromise. And it's hard when you try to compromise somebody, they're not willing to.
Okay, Mr. Martinez, anything else you want to say before I make my decision?
Since when you talked to Matthew, you said you talked to him, asked him that if he wanted to see you.
Yes.
How many times have you called him since then?
My phone broke, so not here recently.
Okay, so and besides that, I just want to say that, I mean, these kids are older. I just want that to be known. They're older, they're not young. She's able to get a hold of him if she wants to. She chooses not to. Yeah, I just want, like I said, I just want the court to be aware of the back story too, and I just feel like she can't be trusted with the kids. I feel like it should be one step at a time, and as far as me telling Matthew that he can't see you, that's not what I said. I told you, Matthew told you that he couldn't go because he didn't want to tell you he didn't want to go. So he said he didn't want to go and blamed it on something else. He can call you whenever he wants to. And I have a lot of responsibilities and I have a life going on. Believe me, you're the last thing I'm talking to the kids about, unless they have something to talk to me about. So there's no reason to do that. I'm not a child. We're not kids anymore. I've never you keep talking about this last, I've only been here going on a year. What about the last 4 years? Explain yourself. Explain why you haven't had no relationship with these kids.
Okay,
You
Mr.
have no
Martinez.
reason not to. And then you sitting here saying, oh, why can't I have the kids? You don't have a job. You don't have your own place. You're not stable. You don't take responsibility for what happened to your daughter.
Okay, Mr. Martinez, I can appreciate your frustration. This was
I'm
your
sorry.
opportunity to say anything
I'm
to
sorry.
me
I'm
because
sorry.
I have to make the decision on it. So you'll have to take up anything else that you might want to share with Ms. Martinez outside of this particular context.
I'm sorry.
Is there anything else you want to say
apologize.
to me today?
No, ma'am.
All right, thank you. Well, the court finds that both parties were given notice for purposes of today's objection hearing, and I have had the privilege of listening to both parents on the outstanding issues. The friend of the court was correct that the voluntary relinquishment of parenting time cannot be used, unfortunately, as a reason to adjust child support. So the objection to the child support recommendation is denied on that point. Also, because physical custody continues to be held by Mr. Antonio Martinez, outside of any agreement by the parties, and frankly, even with an agreement, the IRS would probably not allow for the transfer of any kind of tax deduction, given the fact that Mr. Martinez still has primary physical custody, and it is uncontested that the children live with him. So that particular request is also denied. As it relates to the parenting time request, in light of the concerns that I've heard, but also because of the acknowledgement that Ms. Martinez has not had an opportunity to spend time with her son to establish or maintain a relationship in a rather significant period of time, it will be the order of the court that if she is willing and able to pay for therapeutic reintegrative parenting time with Ms. Brene Moore, who's a therapeutic service provider in our community, I would ask you, Mr. Martinez, to make sure that you cooperated with that, but it would be up to Ms. Martinez to set that up and to work with you and Ms. Brene Moore to get those appointments set up. But what that means, practically speaking, is that there would be a therapist in place. And so the reintroduction and then also your opportunity to share any concerns you may have for the children would be able to be explored during that period of time. So it would be enforceable by court order. But it is also up to Ms. Martinez to pay for that service and to initiate that service. And that's how it will be worded in today's order. Unless there's any questions, that's all for today.